Hey everybody, it is I once again, a 1 year older, a tad bit bolder, Mr. Cinema Junkie. My birthday just passed yesterday, feeling pretty good. Want to thank everybody on Facebook for the birthday wishes. It was very touching, like I had said, heartfelt, appreciated it, really did. I had a pretty good day. Spent the whole day just vegging out in my apartment. And excuse the lighting here. I'm trying to use more natural lighting, like from the windows rather than this lamp, because I feel like it's burning my damn face. Let me see if I can fix this up for you guys just a little bit. Here, how's that? A little better? Yeah, a little better. So, I think I hear somebody coming home. I hope they don't knock on my door. Anyways, if they do, they do. How's everybody doing? I wanted to start this off with just a little something here before I get started on everything else. Look at this. Do you know what that is? Wow. Do you know what that is? That is an origami lotus flower. I made it myself. I've never made anything origami ever. And I happened to watch a video that instructed how to do this. Now, I'm sure plenty of you out there probably say, I make this all the time. Nah, 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 nah. Okay, I never have. But the instructions were very clear and it was very easy to do. If you've never done it, check it out. I saw the video on Freddie Asar's channel. I'll put the link below. TW, thank you for excellent instructions. I'm very clumsy when it comes to these kinds of things, and you made it very, very, very easy. Can't wait for your next video because I'd like to do something a little more advanced later after I get used to folding these things. There it is. Look, lotus flower. Woohoo! I did that all myself. Okay. So yesterday, I watched a few movies that I had bought a couple of days ago. I showed you the haul that I had. And start off with, I watched The Zombie Diaries. I had started watching this movie a few years ago, and I didn't, for some reason, I got sidetracked and didn't finish it. So yesterday, I watched it all the way through without interruption. And I have to say, I understand why some people may not be on board with this movie. Long and short of it is, I liked it. It wasn't the greatest zombie movie I ever saw, but it was far, far from the worst zombie movie I've ever seen. And I can see why people might shy away from it or not really be on board with it, because it is a little slow. It gets a little long in the tooth. And it's got that shaky cam that a lot of people really aren't fans of. Think Blair Witch Project. A lot of camera being tossed around, rolled down hills, things like that. It can get a little trying sometimes. But the long and the short of it is, you got an infection that sweeps through the countryside, turning everybody into flesh-eating zombies, and people are trying to survive just like any other zombie film. So, were the zombies good? At times they were convincing. The makeup might not have been the best it could have been. And when you have a label like Dimension Extreme, you'd think you'd see a lot more blood and gore than this one kind of gave away with. Headshots were not all that juicy, not all that meaty. I mean, these people are getting shot with assault weapons. Okay, even if it's a one-shot assault weapon, a 5.56 NATO round through the head is going to make a little bit more of a mess, not just a little flick and then he's dead. So, but if you can forgive all that, it's not a bad movie. It's not terrible. Like I said, it's nowhere in the same area as terrible. It's not the best. There are better ones out there, but as far as I'm concerned, didn't hate it. Glad I bought it. And now, the trifecta. Since I watched Zombie Diaries, I knew I was going to watch Zombie Diaries 2, and that was included in this little 3-pack that I got here from Dimension Extreme, which includes Hellraiser Revelations, Children of the Corn Genesis, and Zombie Diaries 2, World of the Dead. Let us start with Hellraiser Revelations, shall we? As with any Hellraiser movie, you pretty much know what you're going to get into. Someone's going to dick around with a puzzle box and call the Cenobites forward. They're going to show them pleasure through pain. We know this. There's no surprise. What it comes down to is the delivery of this story. The story that we've seen time and time again. The delivery is everything. Did this one deliver? Let's call it the Cliff Notes of the Hellraiser series. It deals with just the basics. You got a puzzle box, you open it. I'm still trying to figure out how they know to rub that little circle, and that's all they do. Nobody twists it, nobody pulls it, bites on it. Nobody does any of the things that I probably would do trying to open up the stupid thing. They look at it and go, circle. Rub, 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 and the thing just opens right up. It's called a puzzle box. It's supposed to be a puzzle. You don't just figure it out like that. Now, I know somebody out there is going to get philosophical with me and say, well, it's because of the desires that they have for this box that it guides them to, yeah, whatever. I'm just saying, any average schmuck picking up a puzzle box is going to look at it, probably not even figure it's a puzzle box since it's seamless, and be like, oh, that's nice. Put it down on the coffee table. That'd be it. So, in this one, of course, these two guys go to Mexico, and they're bored out of their skull. After killing a prostitute, one of them kills a prostitute, and his other friend is like, I won't tell anybody, but they record the whole thing, and the other friend says, don't destroy the evidence, don't destroy it, because this keeps us on the same playing field. Some friend. So some guy comes up to him and is kind of hip to what's going on, and he hands him the puzzle box. Says, this will show you pleasure. And the guy says, you mean like sex? No, better than sex. So you mean like Martha Ray's cooking? Something like that. So he, they use the box, of course, and he has all, he gets tortured just like everybody else did. Meanwhile, back in suburbia, the family's worried to death about these two because they haven't seen them in a while. They feel they've been murdered or something. The one of the guy's bag is back with them. The police turn over the bag, and in the bag, of course, is the puzzle box, which his sister finds, starts playing around with it. Speaking of his sister, those acting chops, man, they need to be sharpened just a bit. I mean, if you're really hurting for somebody who's missing, show it. Don't sound like you got the wrong size set of shoes, or someone at the Galleria insulted you by saying that this skirt doesn't come in your size. I mean, because she was like, you want me to forget I had a brother and a boyfriend? And I was like, wow, that's the best you could do? Really? Drum up some fucking tears, would you? So then her brother shows up out of nowhere, half dead, like he escaped from Cenobite Central. And all this weird shit happens, and, the Cenobites come, and then the big twist is given. And this is a spoiler, guys. I'm warning you ahead of time. Big time spoiler. It's not really her brother. Even though when she thought it was her brother, she made out with him. But it's not really her brother. It's her boyfriend. That was the other guy that was with him. And he stole her brother's skin. You know how they do. Which is another thing. When they were in Mexico, her brother kept killing prostitutes so that he could drink their blood and become a person again. He's down to the last one. He says, one more. So bring me a man so I can steal his skin, and that'll be it. And then he starts getting moral about it. I'm not doing this for you anymore. I said, hey, man, in for a penny, in for a pound. Finish it up. Don't kill all those people for nothing. Then it was all in vain. He gets all moralistic because the one prostitute he's trying to choke has a baby behind the curtain somewhere. who does get laid to waste by the other guy. Just want to warn you. Uh, he's, he gets all whiny and bitchy about it. So it's like, all right, you can get what you get coming. You're no friend. Um, but anyways, they find out that the guy is really the boyfriend in their son's skin, and he needs to call forth the Cenobites to make a trade for the girl. He wants to give the girl to the Cenobites in exchange for himself, so he can be free of them. So she goes and gets the puzzle box, and under threat of shotgun, he says, "Open that fucking box!" And it cuts to the next scene where she's trying to open the box, but they took the time to set up candles all the way around her on the table. Who does that? If some guy puts a shotgun in my head and says, "Do the puzzle, open the puzzle," I'm gonna be like, "Yes, sir. There you go. Good luck." Not well. Let's see. I'm not feeling the ambiance here. Can we put up some candles? Which we happen to have enough candles to go around the table. We carry these candles all the time just for this purpose, just in case this shit happens, just in case we have to open the Cenobite puzzle box. We've been looking forward to this day, actually. Mom, break out the candles. And then remember in the original how shit would open up, and the walls would go and there'd be a light and there'd be a tunnel and they all come through. You summoned us and all that. This one they kind of do it, and then there he is, just standing there, brooding. Oh, and another part. Oh my god. In the original, there was a puddle of blood on the floor, and the starting part of the guy coming back comes out of this blood. It's just like the brain and eyes and maybe the spinal cord, and that's it. The nerves, the spinal nerves and stuff. That's all he is at the time, right? So, but he comes out. It's a very cool effect. He comes out of this thing. In this one, he kills the prostitute, beats her in the head with the fucking puzzle box, and the blood brings him back. But it brings him back almost completely formed. He just got the muscle tissue and everything. But when you see him, it looks like they literally cut a hole in the mattress, in the bloodstained mattress, and he's poking out from under. They just covered him with the blankets to show that he's not really in the mattress, which is, you can't mistake that. It's a total coming through a hole in the mattress. It's like, wait, don't leave me. No, I'm almost whole again. I'm coming back. Come back. My legs are falling asleep under this fucking bed. So, yeah, it was weak. It was weak. It's one of those movies that you throw in when you have friends who are familiar with the Hellraiser franchise and you just want to totally goof and bust on a movie. That's what that movie is. And if you're a first time viewer of the Hellraiser franchise and you started with this, I'm sorry for you. But on the other hand, I guess if this is the first one you've seen, you got nothing to compare it to, you might get a little more out of it. It might actually do something for you. For me, did nothing. So, nah, I didn't care for it. Didn't, nah. It's cool that I bought it. It wasn't so bad that I'm like, oh, why did I buy this? Then it's not like that. But, I probably won't be watching it again anytime soon. Next up, Children of the Corn, Genesis. This has only certain things in common with the other Children of the Corn movies. First of all, there's children. Second of all, there's corn. That's where the similarities stop. A guy comes home from the war in the early 70s. He finds his family murdered. How the hell they got this lady dead standing in a corner with her arms out, just standing there until she falls off whatever stool they had her balanced on is beyond me. Apparently they had just gotten killed because there was like a welcome home cake, almost a birthday cake, jar of lemonade, but when they get close to it, there's a finger floating in it, and stuff like that. But there's, again, sense and sensibility just kind of go out the window. This guy sees this strange girl sitting there. The whole house is drenched in blood. His whole family's been killed, and the only one who's alive is a girl in a burlap bag who looks like the chick from Silent Hill. Hair all in her face and shit. Just very raggedy and weird. He has a 45. Now, I know it's not cool to kill children under any circumstance, really, I guess. But unless they won't fucking go to bed. And she runs into a room and goes behind an armoire. She's just right on the other side of the armoire. He walks into the room and sees whoever that is, his sister or whatever, she's dead. And he kneels down with his back completely to the armoire, forgetting totally that this strange girl is standing behind him still. I mean, take care of the chick who's a threat first, man. Then deal with that shit. And he has the gun on her, and of course he never shoots. He just, stay back, back. And he winds up getting thrown on his ass outside his house, and all these kids surround him. And that begins the movie. Then we're in modern time, and there's a couple stranded on the side of the road, and they're burning half to death. They find a house, and farmer's real creepy. He has a creepy, horny wife who hits on the girl's husband trying to get out of there. And then at this point, it just becomes like two different kinds of movies. It doesn't focus so much on the other movies they had, like the one boy who was, the leader of the children cult and ordering them to kill the adults. It's not that. It's these two adults who have a boy locked in the barn who has some kind of telekinetic powers. It just gets kind of contrite, I guess, if that's the right word. They're in a crisis where they can't get out of the house. They're kind of trapped by the house. They've actually tried to break the boards off the windows, and the board flies right back into place. And they try to break down doors, and they can't do it. And they try to smash something with the chair, and the chair gets ripped out of their hands. This is a very tense situation they're in. And in the middle of it, true to form, his old lady says, "Did you fuck her?" Like, now? Really? Now you're going to ask me that? And then, of course, he has to defend himself right then and there because, I mean, you're not going to turn your back on a woman who thinks you fuck somebody else. Any guy out there knows you don't do that. So now they'd have to take the focus off of trying to escape, and now he has to defend himself. And he says things like, "How could you say that?" Which is usually a red flag that he's bullshitting. Anyone who didn't do anything will just come right out and say, "No, I didn't do that." But he's kind of like, "How could you say that?" Which I've told friends before that the word how is usually the starter for a question like, how did you know? How did you find out? And we switch gears and say, how can you say that? I might have given away a secret. I don't know. But no, she's in the middle of Telekinesis Central, but she gets an image in her head of him fucking this other woman. So of course it has to be true. Nobody could be planning that in her head. That would be impossible, right? And then the preacher later tells him that, he says, "Oh, he puts pictures in my head." He's like, "Oh yeah, like what?" He says, "Like when your wife had an abortion." He says, "That wasn't an abortion, it was a miscarriage." "Oh, that's what she tells you." So he goes back into the room, and he's sitting there and he goes, "Hey, when you had the miscarriage, it was a miscarriage, right? It wasn't a..." And she says, "Oh, what?" He says, "Nothing, never mind." Come on, man. She accused you of fucking someone else, and you're not going to use that kind of ammo, that kind of leverage, just to shut her up? Like, you don't bring up the extramarital affair, and I won't bring up the fact that you killed the kid. Something, even when they finally escape and they go driving off into the sunset, she's still saying, put a lot of things in my head back there. I don't know what's true and what's real. Like you fucking that woman. "Ah, man, I can't believe you're bringing that up again." She goes, "It's okay. You're forgiven." He goes, "But I didn't do anything." "In case you did, you're forgiven." Bullshit. If he came right out and said, "Oh, I'm forgiven," okay, yeah, I totally did it then. Man, she'd stab him in the throat. But not one time does he throw the abortion in her face. Not once. Pussy. Well, anyways, the kid uses his telekinetic powers to make cars fly off of the back of a truck. And then you find out what the whole thing is about the wife, how he came to get her, all this other jazz. The only thing is, there's a lot of adults. There are a lot more adults in this movie than any other Children of the Corn movie. Usually in the Children of the Corn, one or two adults will happen into their realm, and then they'll see like someone who just turned 19 getting sacrificed, or they'll see the remains of adults who were there before. This one, they kind of coincide with the kids. There's not a lot of adults, but a lot more than I'm used to seeing. Did I like it? Eh. Won't be my favorite Children of the Corn movie for sure. Um, I guess it was okay to some extent, but it's like they're taking the franchise into another direction. And I'll forever just be, it's all about Malachi, man. It's all about Malachi and that little crazy looking impish kid, that weird one. What was his name in the movie? I don't know. In the first one. It's always going to be about that for me. So I can't really say yay or nay on this one, but I can grade it on a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being the best. I'd give this one a 2.5. Hellraiser, I'd probably give a 2. So, on to Zombie Diaries 2, World of the Dead. We get a lot more of the same as we got from the first zombie deal, except this one has more of a military presence. They talk about things that they were made to do under order, and under order they had to round up civilians. Now some civilians were killed, I believe, because they were infected, and I think other civilians were just right out killed in case they were infected. A lot of executions going on. A lot of people lined up against walls, and they state in there that the military is like the most hated. They're more hated than the zombies at this point. So looking for help anywhere is not an option, because they will find them and they will lynch them. You get a lot of running around. I'm still trying to figure out why on earth they're running around with a video camera. I guess they're supposed to document something, but they just don't stop documenting. I think if I'm trying to get out of a place that's full of zombies and I have a limited time to do it, because they find out later that there's a strike, a type of a missile strike, a cleansing of the country that's coming, and they have to get to the boats by a certain time. That camera's going. I'm ditching the camera. I'm ditching the extra weight. Sorry, that's all you're gonna get from me. Whatever I film there, and then I'm out of here. But this one has autistic rape. I believe the guy was autistic. I'm not really sure. I'm not 100%, but he seemed to be autistic. So you have some. They get him to rape this woman, and they also get him to kill her, a soldier. And there's some, I think, some zombie rape as well. I think they not the zombies raping someone. These guys are taking turns raping a zombie chick. Okay. In fact, I think in the first one there was a girl that they had tied up, and I think she succumbed to infection, but they kept her tied up. So I think they were using her for sex as well, which in and of itself is kind of weird. Ooh. Anybody see Dead Girl? Yeah, kind of along those lines. But in this one, like I said, a stronger military presence. Still, you got the shaky camera. Still, you got movement all over the place. And yes, there are parts that get a little drawn out. You want them to hurry up and get on with it already. The gunfire and stuff, it's like they used blank rounds that really didn't transfer too well in the audio. So they come off sounding like cap guns sometimes. But other than that, like I said, there are much worse zombie movies out there. Much worse. I've seen them. I am sorry I saw them. This one, I'm not regretting it too much. Scale from 1 to 5, I'd give it a 3. And I'd give Zombie Diaries probably a 3.5. That's about as fair as I can be with those two. So in short, Zombie Diaries, glad I bought it. The 3-pack, I only paid $2.50 for 3 movies. So less than $1 a movie. I don't feel too ripped off by that. So Hellraiser, it's good for a goof. Children of the Corn Genesis, meh. And Zombie Diaries 2, fairly decent sequel to Zombie Diaries. So that's it for now. And don't forget, check the link below, Freddyosar. Make yourself a very peaceful origami lotus flower. I feel so pretty. Hee hee. Right now I'm going to enjoy some gum that my brother gave me. It's extra. They have all these weird flavors now, like dreamsicle and stuff like that. This one is root beer float, and I can smell the root beer on it. Soft. Oh, wow. If you're a fan of root beer, this is the ticket right here. Damn. That's strong root beer flavor. Okay, guys, I got much more coming up soon. I spent the last couple of days burning up $75 worth of Amazon gift cards. Except in the course of doing it, I forgot that I ordered the first part of Friday the 13th and bought the Friday the 13th 4-pack with the first 4 parts in it. I don't need 2 copies of part 1. Maybe I'll trade it. Maybe I'll give it to my brother. I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, I got a lot of movies coming in. About 18, I think, by my count. 18 different movies. Some are from the same company, so I might get a nice big box with movies in it. I might get 3 or 4 packages from them. I don't know. Some of them have already shipped, so I might get a video going by the middle of next week. Or sooner, if I watch anything worthwhile. You can count on it. This is good. Root beer flavored gum. Who'd have thought? I like root beer. So guys, thanks for watching. Always appreciated. And I will see you all very, very soon. And thank you again for the birthday wishes. Can't say thank you enough for that. I mean it. Bottom of my heart. Take care, guys.